In this video, I will help you out with some of the exercises of Activity 5 of Module F2. Activity 5 is a self-check activity. That's why it doesn't check it for you every time you press enter. It only does that after you press check here, which you should only do after you've finished all of the exercises. Let's start with exercise 4, where they give us this formula. And what they ask of us here is to calculate the points of intersection with both the y-axis and the x-axis. The point of intersection with the y-axis is where the line passes through the vertical axis. And by where, we mean what coordinates. Now, we already know that on the y-axis, the x-coordinate there should be 0. Because if you're on the y-axis, you have not gone to the left or to the right. That's why the x-coordinate is always 0 for any point on the y-axis. The y-coordinate here tells us the height on the vertical axis at which the line intersects the vertical axis. And we can calculate that by taking the x-coordinate of 0 and filling it in for x in the formula. That means we get the calculation minus a third times 0 plus 6. Minus a third times 0 is 0, because anything times 0 is always 0. And 0 plus 6 is 6. So the y-coordinate is 6. So this is the point of intersection with the y-axis that we can pinpoint right there. The next question is about the x-axis. They want us to calculate the point of intersection with the x-axis as well. So we want to know where on the horizontal axis the line passes through that horizontal axis. Now, we already know that when we are on the horizontal axis, that we have not gone up or down at all. That means that the y-coordinate, the second coordinate, has to be 0. And we can use this to find the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate tells us where on this line the line passes through the horizontal axis. We're taking 0 for y, and we are filling it into this formula again, but not for x this time, but for y, because this is a y-coordinate. That means we get minus a third x plus 6 equals 0. We can use the card method to solve this. Hopefully you remember how that works. We can place our card here on minus a third x and think to ourselves, what number plus 6 equals 0? So we have a number, we add 6 to it and we get 0. That number must be minus 6. So we have minus a third times a number, and that should be minus 6. Now I know that has to be a positive number because something negative times something positive gives us a negative number like minus 6. And the number that we're looking for can be found by dividing minus 6 by minus a third, and that's 18. So the number that we're looking for here is 18. That means we can pinpoint the point of intersection with the x-axis right there. So that's the line that they asked for. Next, I want to show you something in exercise 7. Here we are given a formula and we have to do kind of the same thing as we had to do in exercise 4. This is the formula that they give us, and they want us to fill in the gaps in the table. The first gap is here, below x equals 0. So that's actually, if x equals 0, that's right here, that's a point on the y-axis. So they actually ask for the point of intersection with the y-axis again. We can do that by taking 0 and filling it in for x in the formula. So we get the calculation 4 minus 1 1/4 times 0. Multiply first, so 1 1/4 times 0 is 0, and 4 minus 0 is 4. So this should be the number 4. That means we can pinpoint the first point on the line right here. That's the point of intersection with the y-axis. The next gap in the table is here, above y equals 0. Y equals 0 means we are on the x-axis again, because we haven't gone up or down at all. So we're actually looking for the point of intersection with the x-axis again. We can do that by taking the value for y, 0, and filling it into the formula for y again. That means we get the equation 4 minus 1 1/4 times x equals 0. Now, we're using the card method again to solve this, and we're going to place our card here. Now we're going to ask ourselves 4 minus what number is 0? Now 4 minus 4 is of course 0, so the bluish part here should be the number 4. So 4 1/4 times what number is 4? We can calculate that by dividing 4 by 1 1/4, 1.25, and the result of that is 3.2. 3.2 should be the correct answer. Now 3.2 on the x-axis is around here. I can try zooming in, but I don't think that really works. Now, just a little bit. 3.2 I think is around here. So there we have the line. Finally, exercise 8. Again, we have to do a similar thing. They give us 4 points that are on the line of this formula, and we need to find the missing coordinates. The first two work the same and the last two work the same. These ones are easy and these ones are a bit more difficult. I'll show you the first one first. They give us an x coordinate of -2 and an unknown y coordinate that we need to find. We can find that y coordinate by taking the x coordinate -2 and filling it in for x in the formula. That means we get the calculation 3 times -2 minus 2. 3 times -2 is -6, and -6 minus 2 is -8. So that should be the number that's missing there, the y coordinate for point 1. For point 2 it works the same, fill in 5 for x and calculate the result. Point 3 then, there we get the y coordinate and we have to find the x coordinate. So the y coordinate is 7. That means I can replace y by 7. That means I get the equation 3 times x minus 2 is 7, which again I can solve using the card method. Placing my card here means asking myself what number -2 is equal to 7. So I have a number, I subtract 2 from it, and I get 7. That must be the number 9. So 3 times what number then should be 9? 3 times 3 is 9, so x is 9. That's the number that we were looking for. Point 4 works the exact same way. Hopefully this worked a little bit to help you out with these exercises. Good luck with the rest.